Oh, but doesn't work. Hi, everybody. Bonnie's picture is. Oh, wait, I didn't push her out to the stream.
Hi, everybody. Bonnie's
Oh,
pictures.
wait.
Oh, wait. I don't.
Also, I'm hearing my echo. Are you, Bonnie, do you have
Yeah,
Twitch up?
I hear an echo.
I think it's on your end.
What am I supposed to close?
Oh, wait. No, it's okay now.
Yeah?
Yeah, can't hear you anymore. Yay! Welcome to the book club, y'all. It's Felicia Day and my friend Bonnie girl. How are you?
Is there a lag or are we okay?
No, we're good.
Okay.
No echo. I don't know why there was an initial echo and then it went away, but maybe it was me. Who knows?
I don't know. And it's also really bright in here and I feel like I have to turn in my golf card.
No, you look great. Also, there's a pumpkin there. I love it. You got some festive stuff going on.
Yeah, because it's Halloween.
I know. And this is your specialty time of year, right?
Yeah, it's goth. We call it goth Christmas or Hanukkah, depending on how you do your faith. But here, I'll show you some stuff.
Yeah. Also, show me some Halloween stuff. This is Felicitation Book Club. Welcome, everybody. We're going to be doing some visual touring because we do this in video form as well. You can watch it on YouTube and on Twitch Live sometimes. But for now, we are going to talk about Halloween decorations and then get into this month's book. That is very cute.
This is for scale.
Uh-huh.
I have a normal size human head.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
if you had a head that big, you would look like a Bratz doll.
I mean, that was like before my time, not before my time. That was well after my time of dolls and stuff. But that was always the look we aspired to in the 90s was not hooker doll, sex worker doll. Okay, I got this.
That's really cute. Where'd you get that?
I think this is from, I want to say Joann's.
Where do you put all that? Where do you put all this stuff? This is my problem. I have no storage in my house. I have a very old house, very small house. I don't know where to put seasonal stuff when I'm not using it.
It's from Michael's.
Nice.
Here is one of 3,000 Halloween towels I bought.
Oh wow! Welcome to our haunted home, and you could dry your body with that.
That actually glows in the dark, which I found out by accident last night. Here's the thing. I forget what I buy glows in the dark, and then when I turn off all the lights, I get startled by things I forgot.
I got you.
Like I had a glow in the dark skeleton. I have lots of skeletons, so I have I think you can see 3 of them back there.
Yeah.
And then I have a medical skeleton right by my refrigerator. It's like a diet aid, I guess.
That's very. Do you notice that I look like a pumpkin? I look like one of your. I'm wearing an orange wig and I'm wearing a sparkle shirt because.
I know. I love this. I love disco Felicia. It's like raver. You are 90s raver Felicia.
90s raver Felicia. Well, before this, I was playing a little cyberpunk. They have a DLC out. I'm also celebrating the release of Third Eye, my Audible original podcast, teleplay.
Congrats.
Audio for your TV for your ears. That's what.
Congratulations, by the way. That's huge.
It is really big. I mean, I almost feel like it's anticlimactic in that I need to move on, and emotionally now I can move on. It's out in the world, but I spent so long on it that it feels like, oh, it's out. What do I do with my life now? So I'm giving myself the weekend to have fun, and Monday I'm going to start a new project because the best thing to do from transferring your postpartum project depression is to just start something new. Don't you find that, Bonnie?
Yes. I mean, here's the thing. I forget when I do stuff. And so when people start, unless it's like a podcast, which is a bit more immediate, like this,
yeah.
I won't forget this because it'll go live. It's live now, but then I'll be on YouTube and I'll promote it on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
But when I'm like in a book or a cameo, like I'm in a documentary about the Star Wars holiday special called A Disturbance in the Force.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm with actual celebrities. I still don't. I think they have.
You're an actual celebrity, Bonnie. Okay.
Well, I think I worked at Lucasfilm for like 10 years, and I've always been pro Star Wars holiday special. Which, for those listening who don't know what that is, it's it was the Christmas special that on TV aired once. Took place between.
It's amazing. If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube immediately. It is.
Well, it's from the 70s, so it's before Empire Strikes Back happened, and also in the 70s there were variety shows.
It is art. It is
which were
art.
standard. Yeah, which were standard. But then they did a one for the holidays. They did one for Star Wars to introduce Chewbacca's family. There's I think full 30 minutes, like 15. The first 15 minutes is just Wookiees talking with no subtitles.
This is true, y'all.
Anyway, my point is we had a screening at South by Southwest.
It's something else. It is something else. And I was just like, what?
Yeah.
You create the biggest IP in existence, and this is your next move. This is your second move.
I mean, and here's the thing. If I ever was in a room, or most of the time it was like a Robot Chicken skit where I was like in an elevator alone with George Lucas, and technically we weren't supposed to engage a conversation.
That's weird.
But I was like, hey, you only live once. So I was like, it's a holiday special. And you could just see the look on his face. He was like, why do we hire you? So I just didn't like ask him much about it, but I think he's just embarrassed by it. But I also think so much time's passed. He's got other things to care about.
He's got a lot going on. Okay, that guy.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm in it, and
Mark Hamill's makeup is beautiful. One of our chat people said.
Right, so. And that was one of the questions, because the big conspiracy theory is he had broken his nose in a car accident right before, and people thought the makeup was to cover up scars. And what it is it's Broadway makeup. It's musical makeup. It's stage makeup. It's the people who were in charge of the special were like Broadway people and musical people, and they don't.
And
really
back
know
then they pancaked. They use a thing called pancake. And they put it
pancake. That's what it's called.
Literal
pancake makeup.
Pancake makeup. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I forgot about it, and then found I guess it's called Footage Fest, happened in San Francisco or in LA, and it was like where they were airing. They were screening the first version. I think the second version we're having a bigger premiere at Chinese Theater, but I forgot I was in it, and then the producer's like, "Hey, do you live in North Hollywood near this theater?" It was like 5 blocks away from my house, so I was like, I guess I gotta go.
Yeah.
And then I hadn't seen it yet, so I didn't know how much I was in it, because there's like, there's people in it like Seth Green and all these comedians that are famous and blah blah blah. And I'm in it for like, I don't know, I'm in it more, I think, in the second version, I guess, but I had not seen it, and I have lost weight since I have done this.
I have to tell you, I think you look amazing right now. Your hair is longer than I've ever seen it, and you look.
Look at this gray.
I love it though. You look hot.
After reading this book series, which I promise we will talk about,
called Becoming Crone. That is that was our September pick for the movie.
Yeah, which
book.
By the way, look at this woman in her in her 60s,
hot.
And beautiful gray hair.
There's nothing better than thick gray hair on a lady.
Well, I was like, you know what? I mean, I still have some purple. I still like at the ends, whatever. But I was like, I need to like maybe not gracefully, sort of get into my gray. So, and I did that during COVID, and it freaked me out because I mean, we all didn't have access to hairdressers and
no, my hair grew to lengths that I'd never seen before. It was very cool. My hair was really thick. That's why I'm Bonnie. My hair is so thin right now. I'm about to go to a hair doctor. I've been taking hair vitamins for 6 months, not working. I think I have a thyroid issue. So
I'm not gonna be a jerky LA person. I'm gonna be your transparent friend who's been friends with you for many, many years, and I'll tell you a lot of this length is extensions. So,
I know. Well, most people do wear extensions. I wear extensions sometimes. You guys, if you look at my Instagram, my hair goes ups and down. That's.
Well, I do sew in. Like I do. It's
old fashioned. You do. Oh, I can't do that. My hair. I've never done permanent because my hair is so thin. All the hairdressers I've met said don't get the permanent. Although I did find somebody in town who does it really well for thin hair. So next year, if I start acting and I can pay for it, I might start doing it just so it's just easier on me. But at the end of the day, I have to honor my scalp, and I have a thin, nasty little scalp.
Well, I mean, my hair's super, super, super thin. And my hairdresser at Alchemy Beauty in Burbank, she's been doing my hair for ages. She does the hair.
I had no idea you had extensions. I had no idea, Bonnie. It looks amazing on you. Yeah,
and it's also sewn in, which is kind of old school, but that's what I'm used to having. When I was a go-go dancer, I had them sewn in. So I just, anyway, my long story there is I forgot I was in this documentary, saw myself on a big screen in full weight, and I'm not fat shaming myself. I just wasn't prepared. And I was also like, wow, they did me no favors with those camera angles. So I'm just like, and also I'm one of two women.
There's nothing worse than seeing, like I did an episode of TV. I can't talk about TV because I'm still on strike. I'm hoping that by next week we're resolving that. But I did an episode of TV at the end of last year, and I will say that I've lost about 12 pounds in the last 8 weeks, which is not good. It's way too fast, but I just went on a diet to help my stomach because I was having so many stomach and intestinal pooping problems. And that's all much better, but I'm still on such a restricted diet. I can't have any dairy or wheat or lots of fruit and like legumes. But the problem is a lot of things give me acid reflux. So like it's a very small list of things I can eat. So I got to go back. I'm going back to the doctor and I'm going to try to figure out how to make it a little bit easier.
I am not a doctor, nor do I play one on television or movies, but I will tell you, I was on metformin for a while, which is supposed to help with insulin resistance and blood sugar levels. And also I can't do fad diets anymore. I've been doing fad diets since I was 10. So like I've had eating disorder issues my whole life. So my doctor was like, well, I think maybe let's try, GLP-1, which is, the Wegovy Ozempic thing. But I do straight up and I'm paying it out of pocket because my insurance company doesn't believe I need it when I do need it. It's one of those things too in America where you're like, okay, am I working towards rent or healthcare? What am I doing this month? And I have lost weight, but I think a lot of the weight loss has to do with me not eating as much. So I don't restrict, I just don't eat a ton anymore because I had a binge eating disorder during COVID. It was just a lot. So I've just been, and also I'm finally in therapy after all these years.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, therapy, it's a wonderful thing. And now
I realize that a lot of my issues with food are I have body dysmorphia thanks to ballet, and my love language is food. And as a kid, the only time I ever got out of the house as a homeschooled child was for my mom to take us to restaurants. So because she was a foodie and she never cooked, my enjoyment is to go out and eat. So like, I think I got to the point, especially during the last year, where I was just like so burnt out because my kid was having so many problems at school, and I would just go across town and get a croissant. And, I don't have celiac, so there isn't a lot of, I do have sensitivity to wheat, but I just kept eating and eating. And like when I'm in anything in moderation is probably fine unless you have an actual allergy that an allergist has diagnosed. But I developed lactose intolerance the last couple years, and that my gastroenterologist said that, and I have wheat sensitivity, and I just ignored those things. Well, that is BS. That's BS. Okay.
You have a video where you're like saying everything you're allergic to, and I'm like, is she just eating air?
No, that whole thing was a food sensitivity test. I have done investigations since. That is not science. That is not recommended by any doctor institute. I have used it as a jumping off point to see, hey, this is on the list. Does it hurt my stomach? I'll tell you maybe like a third of it actually does, and then the 2/3 are fine. So I would not recommend, unless your doctor is ordering any of these tests. The good thing is I took a real test, and I'm only like allergic to 2 ambient things in the air, some kind of like birch and then some kind of boxweed or something like that. So
all good. Yeah, I mean, when I moved to LA, I was like, welcome to adult asthma. Welcome to brand new allergies.
LA is bad. Yeah, LA is really bad.
Yeah, it was a struggle because it all happened during COVID too. So I was just like, am I dying? What's going on? But I will say,
box elder, that's it.
So I will say that this type of thing, my love language is hanging out with my friends and talking about books. So this is my here.
This is our monthly book club. So yeah, let's talk about the book that you get to pick out, and I thoroughly enjoyed. It's called The Crone Wars: Becoming Crone by Lydia M. Hawk. Do you want to read the description off the back? Because I don't have the book with me, Bonnie.
I sure will, with my brand new reading glasses. Yes, I will, ma'am.
Yeah.
By the way, Lydia M. Hawk, she is so delighted we're talking about this book.
Oh, really?
I discovered her during COVID, and I was on a big urban fantasy kick, but I was like, I want something that speaks to me. And someone recommended her book because I'm 51. I'll come clean. I'm 51. And I was like, I'm kind of tired of reading about like 20-somethings making bad decisions.
I know.
I want to read about 50 and above making bad decisions.
Make all the bad decisions. I love it. I loved it. The book, yeah, I think it's really well written and very not so. It doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, no one can relate to that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just
Right.
well written. It's about a character with some problems. Can you read the book,
Yeah.
the back of it?
I will. So it says, she wanted purpose. She got dark, magic, and war. Claire Emerson is adrift. After a lifetime as a wife, mother, and grandma, she never saw divorce or loneliness coming and is desperate for a sense of purpose. But when her 60th birthday brings a snarky gargoyle, an annoyingly sexy wolf shifter, and an unknown magical calling, she thinks she's losing the only thing she has left, her sanity. Girl, I know. Okay, refusing. Do you like how I talk to the book?
I like it. I like it. You're having a
regardless?
dialogue with the copy
I'm having dialogue.
on the back.
This is what insanity looks like. Okay, refusing to believe she's the powerful defender of humankind, her so-called protectors claim, Claire attempts a return to her safe life, only to have her powers ignite when she's attacked by dark supernatural creatures. And without the training she was supposed to have received, she has no idea how she'll defeat sinister mages plotting her demise. Can Claire overcome creaky joints and major hot flashes in time to save the world and her own life? And then there's a little quote. It says, between crows and pendants and non-existent addresses, I was beginning to not much like being 60. Life had been a great deal less weird when I was only 59. Girl. Sorry, I'm adding the girl. Here's the thing about this. Oh, also, when you order the book, she gives you a cool sticker.
Aw. To Bonnie.
Yeah, cool book.
That's so cool. I read it on my Kindle because I like reading it on my phone at night before bed, which is probably bad for my
Yeah, all of
Hair
her. So
health.
this is a series
yes.
of books. She's writing, little spoiler, she's writing book 5 right now. I just talked to her yesterday. But this is the first book in the series. They're really fast reads. They're not. Here's the thing. I love a fast read. Just like I love short horror films just as much as I like the complicated ones you have to pay attention every second to.
Yeah.
A book that's just a good, I don't want to say beach read because I don't go to the beach, but like a good read for a couple days or one day, or you just want something light. You just want something to read when you're in the doctor's office or DMV line or whatever. I love this book so much I've read it twice.
Yeah.
Mainly because I didn't know there were more in the series, and then she just kept sending me books. I'm like,
Well,
oh,
I mean,
I'm
there's a cliffhanger in the end. Spoiler alert,
Yeah.
where so basically she's a woman who was in an unfulfilled marriage, got dumped. Her family kind of teach her like she's an old woman, which she is not. I mean, really, like, you know, we're not in the standard of, I think a lot of people have this idea that 50, 60 is old. Like, it's not nowadays. Like, everything's shifted. 20-year-olds are not adults, practically. And 30s are like when you're just finding yourself. Everything's like shifted 10 years later, for better, for worse. So like their attitude really irritates me, A. And then B, she has this adorable little grandson. And because of the situation, like now she's got, you know, at a certain point she loses access to him, but they kind of fix that. But they set up for a lot of really cool conflict. And the world building is really really fascinating. Can you talk a little bit about like the gods and the pantheon that we're using here, Bonnie?
Thing like I love a world building moment. I love that she's using a lot of different like elements in paranormal like world building. I don't want to say template because there's not really a template for world building in this world or in this genre of book. But I do like that she's not just doing the typical stuff. And here's the thing. I love the gargoyle. I'm just putting that in there right now. Like the gargoyle.
I love it. And you know, there's nothing better than a comedic sidekick. I know I am such a sucker for kids animated shows. And I'm like, ugh, they have a cute sidekick. And I'm like, I love them. You know, it's just such a cliche. And yet the gargoyle has a lot, but the gargoyle, he has a lot of history, a lot more interesting, and they have abilities. And like, it's more of a friend. I will say in the middle of this book, one of her best friends gets killed. And I was like, wait, what? The stakes are super high here. I was like, I felt awful. I wanted to know, it was so cool because I thought that was going to be her perma friend. And like to lose that friend so early was just wild.
Yeah, but also I think, you know, and I don't want to get too morbid about it, but when you reach a certain age, and so I'm 51, like I said, and I'm starting to notice people I care about dying. And it's not necessarily COVID, right? Like it's old age dumb stuff that you don't think about. Like you don't think about aneurysms. You don't think about heart attacks. You don't think about stroke. You don't think about drinking your whole life and then having it come to basically kill you off early because your liver's not working anymore. The spoiler alert, when you get older, all of this starts breaking down.
It doesn't go well for you, okay? I'm not there yet. I'm like 10 years younger than you, maybe less. But I will say that I have noticed my body is not springing back. My hair, my hair's thinning. My skin is like, well, that's not as firm as it used to be. It's really hard to get in shape. When I eat something, it's especially when I went crazy. I went to Greece and then I just went, like, let's eat it all. I was very, very, it's fine. Like,
it's vacation rules.
Let's also love our bodies, whatever they was. I personally was not feeling like myself. I feel much more like in my own body now because I don't know, I just feel a lot more body confident. I was at this Monster High event the other day, and one of the actors who was she's a resident, a doctor. She plays the Yeti character, and she's actually a doctor in a hospital. And she happens to do voiceover on the side. And she's like, yeah, I just don't have I don't have lead character energy, but I'm really working on it. And that is my new mantra. 2024 is my year of lead character energy. And I've been doing a lot of work the last couple months to get that. Like, with the diet, not the diet, but just like confronting my health issues, getting my hair situated, working on my skin regime, doing new headshots, wearing something a little nicer than I have for 3 years during COVID. So I don't know. Everybody should grab their lead character energy right away because we all are lead characters in our lives. Why don't we act like it?
I think, it's funny because I love this book because it shows you could be of a certain age and still have to learn a lot. And especially about yourself, especially about the world. And I think sometimes people think, when you're, 50 or even, I don't want to say 40, but like 50, 60, you have life figured out. No. Another spoiler alert.
I can tell you that right now. Y'all, you think you're old. You're the same brain, just in an older body. I promise you.
Thank you.
It's the same. Nobody gets, 80-year-olds, they're like, yeah, my body sucks, but they're feeling in their mind exactly like they were in their 20. And so age is so randomly arbitrary. And as long as you believe inside that you're young, you're going to carry yourself like you're young. Yeah, your body might not look young, but your attitude on life, you should not buy into the idea that you don't have so much ahead of you because you have as much ahead of you as you want to shove into the remaining parts of your life.
I think you need reminders because I follow a bunch of people on Instagram who are goth and over 50 who still are like living the goth life, who are still like, this is not embarrassing for me, this is just me.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you need reminders. I do know that the older I got, the less confident I got. So 16-year-old goth me would be so pissed off at 51-year-old me because it took me so long to realize you can just be you. You don't have to be all these different people to suit everybody else's needs, wants, desires, whatever. And this book was also one of those things where I'm like, okay, she thought this is it.
Yeah.
This sucks. I'm 60. Everyone thinks I'm irrelevant. Everyone's erased me. And I know you and I have talked about age in the entertainment industry, especially I've been applying for jobs since Hunt a Killer Games laid me off right before Christmas last year.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a games writer, so I should be able to find it. Let me tell you, video game, sexism's already there at the companies, but ageism is so much
really
worse.
bad. It's really, really bad.
So much worse. And when you deal with ageism, and I honestly, this is new for me, because I was like, usually people, I get, have to deal with sexism or maybe some homophobia that's like kind of behind the scenes, but for the most part, now it's all sexism. Now it's like, you're too old, you won't understand the culture. Even when I started at Hunt a Killer, which I got the job rather quickly and was a lead writer, was one of the lead narrative writers. I remember that I had a quick conversation with the person who hired me, who was my supervisor, and he said, just so you know, you're working with a lot of Gen Zers and millennials. They're not like Gen X, so you might want to, think about how you talk to them, think about how, and I was like, how old do you think I'm like Grandpa Simpson shaking my fist at the world? Like how, and it was just one of those eye-opening, and I will tell you, it was a weird experience because when you work in entertainment and the people are younger than you, you sometimes have to be like, oh yeah, millennials see the world different. A lot of them see the world different, a lot of Gen Z or stuff. But when I read this book, I was like, yeah, but when are they going to celebrate us? Like, when are they going to be like,
Never.
Hey, we have some experience.
There are societies, I think, like there are some societies in this world that may honor like experience, but for sure, Our culture does not. It doesn't. And
Especially here.
especially
Yeah.
for women, you're not even supposed to have a wrinkle on your face. And but then if you get too much work done, you get made fun of, right? There's no winning for women when basically society is like, cling to the youth that you have, because that's all your relevance is your outer appearance, because we're in a patriarchal society, and really our sexual attractiveness to a male gaze is really what our worth is. And that's such BS, because it throws women out after a certain age, 100%. Like, and that's why Hollywood, like, that's why I quit acting for several years, because I'm like, I don't think there's any roles out there for me, because I'm either auditioning for a mom or a secretary. And I'm like, I've been here a long time. I'm going to go back into the breach, but I'm going to be super ruthless. Like, and I'm going to keep creating stuff for myself, even if it's a little scale.
And that isn't that how the Guild happened? Because you were getting so many no's that you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it myself.
That's what Third Eye is. Third Eye was a TV show, and it got turned down. And I gotta tell you, the looks on the executives' faces when I pitched the show were so insulting.
Are you serious?
Oh, they looked like I pooped on a table when I said there's a vampire character. But this was in 2015, and most of those people don't work now. They're all executives out of the business.
I just got told by an executive that vampires are coming back now, and because I'm pitching stuff a lot as a writer, but also I'm pre-WGA, so I'm not even cool enough to get in the Writers Guild because I don't have enough credits that are.
You'll get there.
You know, basically
you'll get there. It's hard to get in that guild, yeah.
Like, also, it's just like, it doesn't matter. I'm an author, so I'm just gonna write books and comics, and then eventually adapt them from film and TV or for audio.
The best thing you can do is
radio.
create your own stuff, because then you have control over it.
Yeah, and that's why I like this book, because I don't think a lot of people, and also just some backstory on this, the author, she pitched it, and all the publishers are like, no one's going to read anything about a main character who's a woman in her 60s in paranormal, like urban fantasy. Like, every publisher was like, can you make her 30? You know what I mean?
Really?
They were like,
is that what she said?
Yeah, and so
but
she
that's
said,
the whole uniqueness of it.
But here's the thing. She said, screw it. I'm writing and publishing it myself. So that's why this happened, is because she took that.
I think it was really well written. I will say that it was really well written, and the romance, the sort of tentacles of it. I was like, oh, I like it. I was like, I want this to happen.
Also, think about how many books you read or how many movies you see. Like, so no shade to Kevin Bacon, but I did watch that horror film recently that came out ages ago, where it's that house where him and Amanda
Seyfried?
Amanda Seyfried's his wife. And I'm like, okay, there's like a 26-year difference. Like, there's a lot. And I was like, okay, here's the thing. I don't care about age differences in relationships at all. But can we do more movies where older women are with younger men too? So there's like a balance. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
what you show the world, right? And like, you're showing the world what a lead woman is, and a lead woman doesn't have wrinkles, and that's what you're kind of implying. Like, if you look how old you are, the guys can look 10 years older than they are, and that's fine. But this is what a woman should look like if you want to be the center of attention and sexually attractive to the man who has power. And those are the kind of narratives we just unconsciously adopt, and it's inevitable, but it is a disservice to half the population. So it's very frustrating.
More of these books to be like, I will support Lydia. I will promote these books until I die. I know she's doing a lot of them. I hope she continues to do more. I hope she does another series with another older character. And also, this inspired me to start writing a character like this, but it's more in the Cthulhu world, but I'm having a lead character. It's basically just me. I think I'm narcissistic enough where I'm like, I've never done this yet. So I'm just doing
all my characters are me. All my characters are a little bit of me. I think if you want to do something super personal, you got to have a little piece of you in everything.
Yeah, and also I'm also kind of like I you know how I said I had less self-confidence than I did when I was 16, but I am financially independent. I am not attached to anyone. I am proudly single. I'm a lazy sexual more than I am a bisexual, and that's fine. We'll never have a parade for lazy sexuals because we're too lazy to organize it. We're never going to get on the flag because we have a half-ass flag because we haven't finished the flag yet. That's fine. But my point being, representation matters not just with your gender, how you approach what gender fluidity, sexual fluidity. I think ageism and I think age representation is important for women. The older we get, like, how many times have I been told, hey, can you not mention menopause in your script? And I'm like, why?
Oh yeah, I had one
Why?
that I wrote a script that I was supposed to star in, and the executive, a woman, the age of the character was my age, 41,
Okay.
just a couple years, and
Yeah.
the executive's note was like, "Can we make her 39?" And I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah.
Because to you, 25-year-old executive, 40 is old, and we can't tell stories about 40 years old, or the whole story is about being 40. And I'm like, no, it's just a woman. And also, I had better skin than them. You know what I'm saying?
But also, I guarantee you, they didn't say that to anybody who had a male character that old.
No.
None. And I'm over it. I'm over it. I told you I had a movie idea that I'd written the script, and then of course a movie came out that was similar, which always happens.
But
when
that
you
happens a
finish your
lot.
original script.
You've got to just write your version of it. Like,
Yeah, and I still will, because mine's different than the one came out with Melissa McCarthy, where it's superheroes that get their powers during menopause or after menopause.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, that's just like mine, except mine's not superpowers, mine's more witchy stuff. But I kind of like this book. And when I was reading this book, I was like, oh God. Because when you write something that's from your heart, that's not an existing franchise, IP, whatever, I had an agent and a professor in creative writing once tell me, it's not about who writes it, whose ideas it is first, it's who gets it published first.
Yeah.
But also, when you put a creative idea out into the universe, whether you're talking about it, thinking about it, writing it, it's out there. So other people might get it in their brain too, like a hive mind. So instead of thinking, oh crap, I can't write that now because someone else has already taken that, and no one else
nobody's thing is going to be the same. I developed this third eye. I literally pitched in 2015.
Wow.
And it's, the concept is a chosen one who fails. And I'm just like, I haven't seen this done before. It might not be, but that somebody's going to do it. And I'm like, no one's going to write like me. No one's going to have the same setting. No one's going to have the same character. No one's going to have the same friends or plot. It's going to be my version of it. And, there's not 10 million stories in the world. Like, there's a set number of, like, kind of archetypical stories, archetypical. But at the end of the day, everybody's, like I said in my Embrace Your Weird, draw a cat. Everybody's cat will look different.
Yep.
So
also, it
draw
doesn't
your
matter
cat.
it doesn't matter if you have the same idea, because think of how many Spider-Man movies have we had?
Yeah.
It's like, you're allowed to do something similar, but put your stamp on it. But also, you're allowed to just do shit. And like, I don't know. So anyway, this book is a great read, but it also inspired me.
Yeah, it's about Morgan, the Celtic goddess of magic and death and all that stuff. Just really fascinating lore. And then it's Irish, so she's taking all this Celtic Irish folklore and putting it into this world where you have these bad guys. It's very much like she obviously knows her stuff. She's done her research. She pulls from this, and this woman is kind of a reluctant hero in that, she is a person who supported other people her whole life, and to step out of line is something that's very foreign to her, which is very typical of women. And then you get into this, and she starts becoming a fully fleshed out version of herself, which she never was before. And it's very empowering and very fun, and seeing her get powers and filling this out in this small town, and seeing her have to relate to her children, which is, I will say that there's one other book, Louis Bujold. There is another, Louis McMaster Bujold wrote a series of books called Starring an Older Woman, and they were so good. The Curse of Chalian. And that one features a woman who's older who has a child, and it's one of my favorite series just because the writing is incredible. And I would definitely recommend that one to you. Because
here's the thing.
Or is it Curse of Chalian? I can't remember. It's one of her books.
Also, you think about it, like, goddesses are the oldest women ever, and if they could be admired and worshipped and loved, why can't humans that are, goddess age? I don't know. I just rewatched Mad Max. I'm on like a lot of rewatches right now. So I watched the new Mad Max, Furiosa. Here's the thing.
Charlize the Paladin of Souls. Okay, Paladin of Souls.
Isn't Charlize Theron your age?
Paladin, Charlize Theron. No, she's a couple of years older than me. Paladin of Souls is one of the very few books that has a middle-aged woman run away to find herself. She's the retired queen. She's a minor character in The Curse of Chalian, but this is her book. So it's kind of a sequel, but not really, because I don't remember reading The Curse of Chalian before it. But
Yeah.
This one is a very small book. So you could read Cursed Child first, or you could read this one. But it's really about a woman who's older, really finding herself. And it's a great book. And it really inspired me because, again, this is not who we generally read about. But, like, I like to read about younger women, you know, somebody my age. But, again, when I read a perspective of a guy or somebody who's not like me, I learned something about the world. And so we should all be, like, seeing the world through other people's eyes, through other protagonists' eyes.
And also, I think when you look at the horror genre, which is my favorite genre of everything, games, movies, TV, books, comics, there is sadly a level, and it is a genre called creepy crone, which I don't. I mean, I think some of these movies are good at it, and not being like, ooh, old people scary, because we don't want to like. We don't want to turn old people into the enemy, because I feel like, or the thing to fear, because we're all going to get old. If we're lucky, we're all going to get old, right?
We're lucky.
So,
yeah, if we're lucky.
If we're lucky, right? And I do see a lot of movies that kind of pop in the old lady thing, like the It Part 2 and other things where they're not the main character, but there's like, ooh, creepy, scary lady. And hey, Omen 3, still one of my favorite. I'm sorry, Exorcist 3, still one of my favorite. Is of all the exorcism movies, I love it. But there's, a scene with old people, and they're creepy, and one of them's crawling on the ceiling, and she's really, and the grandmother goes crazy. So it's, I know it has its place in horror, but I want to see more of this. I want to see more like, okay, we have that.
Hey.
But what if we have sexy old ladies?
Well, Sean Santa Looky Look just posted some seasoned romance good read list in the Discord if anybody's interested, which are romance with older women.
Thank you.
Now, I will say,
also, I mean, that's something that's genre, but also maybe we need to tap into that more a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I do want to put we highly recommend this book, you guys.
Yes.
Next month
and
we're
book
reading.
5 is coming.
Yes,
yeah,
5 is coming. I think I actually I ordered number 2 because I want to read this. I really do genuinely really like this.
Good.
Series.
I read that one too. It's great. It's awesome.
But I do want to say next month we're reading Gundog by Gary Whitta, who is a personal friend of mine, and it's a very good book about mechs. It's Gary's like a big AAA movie in a book. I love it. I hope it gets optioned and made one day. I want to just mention, I don't know if we're going to read it for our book club, but I would read this book again. I read The Fourth Wing, and I'm obsessed.
Are you? I mean, we haven't read it for this book club, have we?
No. Have you read it, Bonnie?
Yeah, I have. Oh my God, I'm losing my voice. Yes, I have. I love that book.
We don't want to go into details, but I think that I've never been more in love with a book character since like Kushal's Dart, with the Xaden. I'm sorry. I would name a child after Xaden because he's so hot. And it's just weird to name your baby somebody after someone you think is hot. But that romance.
And also a little background, Kushal's Dart was, I think, one of our favorite books when we did the Vaginal Fantasy Romance Book Club show.
Oh, yeah.
Which is still on YouTube. You can go watch it on Felicia's channel.
Well, I will tell you that the book with Jocelyn's point of view, I still have not read it because I forgot about it. And I just was cleaning next to my bed and I was like, why have you not read this? So that's like my next read for, other than Gundog next month.
Good.
So
also, Scalzi's new book, was it Starter Villain or whatever?
Yes.
I just bought it, so I'm like, I'm gonna pre-read it, but I think that could be a fun book to read too. Here's the thing: we have Felicia and I are very blessed to have a friend circle full of freaking talented authors.
Yes.
So like, anytime they have a new book that comes out, or anytime we're like, oh, what to read next, and I know I think it's a form of nepotism because I always try to support my friends and promote them and signal boost whatever they're doing.
I do too. I always like to help people out.
Luckily, yeah, and I mean, and also I have a writers group where it's primarily UK writers, but they write the stuff we read. So I think if you stick with us and stick with this show, you're going to get a lot of good reading recommendations.
Yeah, and also, Clea's Mill just reminded me, it's our 2-year anniversary of doing the Felicitations Book Club. And I will say,
awesome.
I started this book club because it was part of a failed crypto thing that I tried to do honorably. I had a lot of money stolen from me in a way that...
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's fine. It is what it is, and thank goodness we did a lot of content together over the year and a half that it existed. So the fans got their money worth. I got fleeced, but I deserved it for even thinking that I was naive enough to think that maybe I could do something honorable in crypto. I didn't. I got what I deserved, but this is the remnant of that.
No. I'm going to interject. It's not what you deserve. You're trying new things. You are also, I'm like you, I'm a tech junkie. I love, like right now, everyone's anti-AI. And I'm like, yeah, but how can I pivot AI in a positive thing for me?
Yeah.
That means that I can be as a writer. So I don't think you've lived until you said, I've had a failed crypto experience.
It's
so
true.
I think you're right on the path that we're all on. As long as you're, you know what I mean? And also, if you hate scammers and scam artists and all that stuff.
Listen, there were a lot of very high profile.
There's a lot of them.
There was a high profile Hollywood agency behind this, a very high profile tech person. I trusted a lot of people would be honorable and not steal my money. They did it. And and I learned a lesson. And now all I want to do is my stories. I don't need to prove myself, but also we get to keep this book club going, and I really appreciate that. So thank you, Bonnie.
And I do believe all the audio versions of our book club at the beginning of this, before we were doing video of this, is on your Felicitations website.
Yeah.
Am I saying it wrong?
Felicitations.
Okay, cool. I'm doing that thing where I think in my head I'm saying it right. It's like audio dyslexia. Like, I don't know what I'm saying at the time.
Rocket Soup in chat, who are listening to this live record podcast, says we kept the book club in the divorce.
Yes, we did. Also, I think someone just said, I can't read the comments go by so fast. I love it. The thing from, I think it's like Bug929 says, write a book about hunting down crypto scam artists. There's a new movie with Statham coming out called Beekeeper, where basically it's like The Equalizer, but he goes after crypto scam artists.
I will watch it and eat all the popcorn.
The trailer came out yesterday. I watch all movie trailers as soon as they come out. And granted, I have a different... Statham is one of those people where I love his movies because they're just him. It's just him playing himself over and over and over. There's not a lot of range in Jason Statham, but you know what you're getting with a Jason Statham movie, which is just action and Britishness and him being like snarky.
And just sign me up, okay?
Yeah,
just sign me up.
And also, I think we're seeing a lot more. I thought for sure the year of 2023-24 was just going to be straight up outbreak movies, just, everything COVID related. And now what I'm seeing is a lot of, we're killing the hackers that took all of grandma's money. We're after scam artists. We're a lot of women revenge movies, which I love a good women revenge movie. Like, I wrote one just for Helen Mirren that's never going to see the light of day. Yeah. But it got me through COVID.
That's amazing. I want to do that. Yes. I want to read that. I want to see that.
I mean, and also I think we're also in a world right now where, especially with the strike, a lot of people are looking and going, you know what? The studio system is flawed. We still have to work within it, but maybe we don't. Like, maybe we can do things outside of that system on our own. Yeah. And again, this book that we just read, perfect example of she couldn't get publishers to okay a 60-year-old woman main character. Yeah. So she's like, I'm doing this myself because this is awesome. And she's getting a lot of accolades for this book, a lot of great reviews. So if anything this book club does, we hope to encourage you to go out of your way to read different things you may not know about, but also inspire you to do shit that's creative and makes you happy. And don't wait. And something famously you've said, don't wait for permission. Just do it.
Exactly. All right. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening. Next month is Gun Dog by Gary Whitta. Grab it on Kindle or in paperback. It's going to be great. We will hold that hangout probably in the beginning of November because I'm going to be out of the country October 20th through 30th doing MCM London. So please just follow my Discord to see when this is, and I will upload it to the podcast feed when I get a chance. And that'll be it. Okay. Thanks a lot. I'll see you in a bit. I will be, you guys who are in the audience watching, I will be back in 5 minutes. I got to go pee-pee. And then I'll be hanging out with Adam doing Fortnite. So if you guys want to join our game and play Wordle with us and all that stuff, let me know, okay?
Yeah, and also you can find me on social. I'm on all the socials as Bonnie Girl, which is just BONNIEGRRL. And I have an upcoming show that I do called The Night Shift, which is a monthly horror film review show I do with two other women, former adult star Jenna Hayes and rock star Renee Ruin. And we're going to be discussing Infinity Pool. So if you're interested in that body horror film, that I think it's on Hulu, it's streaming everywhere. That I believe we'll be doing that October 7th, which is, tomorrow or Saturday. Yeah. So anyway, we're doing that. So, but you can find me on socials and also find this author. She's on social. Yes. Talk to her. Tell her how great this book is because She's amazing, and she loves talking to fans. So if you like this book or have any questions for her, find her on social. She'd love to talk to you.
Okay, I gotta go pee. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right, I'm gonna go be right back.